Hey, Pussynet. Just a small video to introduce. I finally got my book on medicine. So the first one, this one, it's called the Herbal Medicine Maker Handbook. As you can see, it's pretty deep. From the review I read, it's pretty complete, and so far, like just browsing through it, it's pretty well done. There's some pictures and stuff, and they go through pretty much everything. I'll find the table of content there. So how to do your concoction, infusion, oil infusion, poultice, and all that stuff. So that's the first one. I'm gonna start buying my the gear. So I found a store nearby here that that list of 30. So I sent that, and they had them all. So some are pretty expensive, so it's gonna be interesting. But I'll buy as much as I can and try to get the whole list of 30s. When I do my medication though, I'll probably use like cheaper stuff, like peppermint or stuff like that I can get at the grocery, so that if I screw it up, because like some of those medication, they were like, I think like $80 for 100 grams, so that's pretty expensive. So I don't want to mess up a recipe because I didn't use. But if I use, like, for example, peppermint or something, plus I'll be able to taste if it tastes like what it is. So I'll be playing with probably like the cheaper stuff, and it's fresh herb, so probably the same thing. I'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's the first one. The second one here, it's a beginner guide to how to grow and stuff. This one's a little bit smaller. There's a little bit more pictures, a little bit more recipe, how to do certain things. So this will be a new series, and so this is the introduction. So basically I'll be running my basically in the series, each chapter is like an infusion, concoction and stuff. So I'll be filming all this and learning as I go until I think October, November, or even like all the way up to December. And then after that, my new goal after that for the New Year's is a course coming for weather. That's gonna get. I'm gonna try to go for it. So that will be interesting. So that will be my next adventure. And just to finish, to kind of come back on one video that I did on the antibiotics and stuff, I just read an article today. It's a little bit like a "I told you so" moment. So a petit peu a petit peu I told you so. It's an article that very fascinating. So how did TB kind of grew up? And basically it says is because of the invention of fire, because as people were gathering more together, TB kind of grew up differently. And so one of the argument that I was doing about a lot of the antibiotic craze is that right now the recipe works well, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't have them. The problem is that the discussion stop at here's the list of what works now. The problem is that they never look at what works after. So for example, and I can never pronounce, I'll write it down here. There's this disease here that is probably in my backyard right here, and there's articles about that, and I'll put link downstairs. But I never hear that talk. And actually I even a few of the big YouTubers that always talk about antibiotic, when I go on the website, put that words on, there's no article that comes out yet. That's right there, that's right over here. So how do you treat that? They never talk about that stuff. And so those would be probably more prominent, because what is prominent right now wouldn't be probably prominent back then. And also a lot of the what's prominent now and what working now could modify as the disaster and interaction with different things works. And then you become like, it's a little bit like saying, well, I'll keep Tic Tac mint for diabetes. I mean, it has sugar, so there's no harm for doing that. Yeah, but it's probably not the best treatment that you can give. There's maybe other treatment. And so this is why in a world where we can be able to assess and do a proper assessment of your gear, is it the best way to just go with a list, or basically a recipe book on antibiotic, or to have a more multi approach to the treatment? And so a lot of people, they keep saying, well, it's better to have them and nothing. But this is what I keep saying. It's not that they don't have them, it's that I think that the discussion is not there, and people just buy them and then they forget about other stuff. But there's a lot of things in consideration that doesn't seem to be included. Anyway, so this article was very interesting because it kind of brings back the point that I keep doing, is that change the environment and the disease change as well. Anyway, that was just an introduction for those books, and look for more videos, medical wise too. There may be a little bit decrease because this month will be kind of something that I've never really seen in the on YouTube, is how to do labs. And so I'm trying to look at doing compact labs that basically a little bit everyone could do in a grid down situation, and the things that could provide. Like a lot of people use stethoscope and blood pressure, which are interesting to know, but there's other stuff that would be way more would give you more information and could be as easily to be done, and probably even easier to done, because easier to learn, because for example, stethoscope is about sound, so you have to have a lot of practice, versus if I look something under the microscope, if I have a little book that looks, that's the picture, that's what I see, that's what it is, then it's a little bit easier if I do it 6 months or 7 months down the line without learning. So anyway, I'm working on that project, so it may take a little while, but there's still things coming. I got some reading. I started to do my research, so look for that, and I'll talk to you soon.